In Singapore, you'll find a unique mix of traditional ethnic cultures, including Chinese, Indian, Malay, and European, that have created a food culture that is not like any other. This tiny city-state has developed an intense and passionate love for the local cuisine, which some might say is borderline obsessive. But it's not just for the locals. I'm here to find out why Singapore has become such a prime foodie destination. Singapore is located off the southern tip of the Malay Peninsula in Southeast Asia. The heart of this island republic, which totals only 259 square miles, is the historic center along the southern edge, with its colonial buildings, Orchard Road shopping centers, and original ethnic neighborhoods like Chinatown and Little India. It's 6:30 in the morning and I'm meeting Leslie Tay, one of Singapore's most popular food bloggers, for my first breakfast in town. He suggested an old-time favorite dish at the port's 24-hour food court frequented by dock workers. Leslie, you have to tell me, what are we doing at the dock so early in the morning?
Well, we're having this dish called bak kut teh, which is literally pork bone tea. Singapore being a trading port, there's a lot of work for coolies. So we had the Teochews on one side, the Hokkiens on the other side. And these two clans were always fighting for the jobs. And the Teochews then came up with the idea that we needed something to boost the energy so that our workers will all have extra energy and look stronger than the other side.
Right.
And so they came out with this pork bone soup, which they spiced with lots of pepper. And they started to drink that. And then the Hokkiens looked onto them and said, hey, what are these guys eating? How come they all seem to be so energetic in the morning? And so they came out with their own version of bak kut teh. Now, it's a little bit of a debate as to who started first, but I'm Teochew.
So you're going the Teochew.
I'm going the Teochew way. It's a friendly sort of tussle nowadays, but in the good old days, it was quite serious because in Singapore, these clans, they stick to themselves because when they came from southern China, they knew nobody. So they had to join a clan. And the clan actually looks after them. They stayed at the clan houses.
And then you have friends.
And then all your friends were all Teochew and all the Hokkiens were all Hokkiens and they just stuck with themselves. And that's how our cuisine actually started to develop. So the Teochews will have their own different dishes and the Hokkiens have their own different dishes.
Right.
But bak kut teh is just one of those dishes that both sides have their own version of the same dish. 我们要吃那个肉骨茶啦，就是正骨的。
Once we've ordered, it's time for tea, which even in this simple cafe is a tradition that demands respect.
So we pork rib soup, right?
Yes.
It's called bak kut teh because, and the teh means tea.
Right.
So you have to have tea when you have bak kut teh.
Okay.
And this lady is just doing the tea ceremony for us.
Okay.
First of all, she's got to heat up the pot. And she's used a little bit of tea leaves to wash the pot first.
Okay.
So you get a bit of the flavor of the tea into the pot. And then you want to throw away the first part. Because you want to get rid of all that dust and whatever flavors that's in the pot. So that's the first round.
Okay.
And that's just to wash the tea leaves and to heat up the cups and wash the cups. You want to have small cups because you just want to have one mouthful and not have to leave the tea there when it gets cool.
And so it's always hot every time you make it, but it's time consuming. Thank you.
There you go. It's interesting to note that Chinese teacups do not have the handles. And that's because if you can't pick it up, then you shouldn't put it to your mouth.
Okay,
Just,
I want to try.
Try the tea and experience how the tea actually cleanses your palate and then leaves a nice floral aroma back at the back of your palate.
Oh, that's very nice.
Oh, here comes the pork rib soup.
Oh.
So I'm just gonna pick this up, dip it in a little bit of the soy sauce and chili, and just go for it.
Okay.
It's really good. It's really, really nice today.
Whoa. That is peppery.
That's right.
I did not expect that. It looks so unassuming.
That's right. It's a lot of
Oh.
pepper, a lot of white pepper that goes into the soup.
Yeah.
It gives you that wake-up call in the
Yeah,
morning.
exactly. I am surprised. Wow, it's peppery. Lots of pork flavor.
There's a lot of smoothness that you can taste in the soup from all that
Yeah.
oil and the marrow.
Ooh.
I'm actually really having it.
Fortified by my hearty breakfast, I'm ready to discover Singapore. Sir Stamford Raffles, the British officer who landed here in 1819, found only a tiny Malaysian fishing village on the banks of the Singapore River. By the late 1800s, Singapore was a thriving British colonial trade center, and tens of thousands of new immigrants poured into the island, creating the unique multicultural mix that is still the face of Singapore today. The legendary Raffles Hotel has always attracted a glittering European crowd of officers, dignitaries, writers, and wealthy tourists looking for exotic adventure. But here at Raffles is also the historic trace of how Singapore became such a cultural melting pot. Many British officials arrived from India, another colony, and they brought their Indian staff, including cooks and kitchen help with them. At Raffles' oldest restaurant, the Tiffin Room, Indian cuisine has always been featured.
It's almost noon here in the Tiffin Room, and the chefs are just setting everything up behind us. But you have to see this. Look at this. This is so beautiful. This is an antique tiffin box itself. And what happens is the meals are placed inside these boxes, and these have been around here in the Raffles since the 1880s.
Raffles delivered tiffin boxes to colonial administrators in the early days before the hotel graduated to more luxurious dining arrangements. The hotel was established by the famous Arminian Sakis brothers, who introduced to Raffles electric fans, transport to and from the docks, fine dining, and innovations that marked them out as five-star hotel pioneers. Nowadays, you can dine elegantly in-house on classic Indian dishes, samosa pastries, chicken tikka, pickled chutneys, and yogurt sauces.
Looks like what we have here in these pots are a huge assortment of Indian curries. They have here like a black bean dal. This has got amazing cauliflower and carrots in it. Oh, one of my favorites, a palak paneer. This is like spinach mixed in with like cottage cheese. Healthy, right? You know, modern day Singapore really started here at the Raffles. You can see how all of the influences started trickling in from the Europeans to the Indians, and how they kind of came in and influenced the Chinese and Malay cuisine as well. And now you have modern day Singapore cuisine.
The Indian immigrants who came to Singapore generations ago stayed and prospered, just like the Chinese immigrants who poured in from mainland China and the native Malaysians from the surrounding islands. At first, they were required to live in officially separated ethnic neighborhoods by the government, but eventually the cultural boundaries started to blur, and so did the food boundaries. In Singapore, for example, although curry was originally an Indian import, curry is no longer just used by the Indians. Irene Jensen, a cookbook author, comes from Chinese and Eurasian roots, but she cherishes her Chinese grandmother's recipe for roti jala bread paired with a spicy chicken curry.
Well, I think we promised you a very tropical show here in Singapore, and in Singapore it rains. Why don't we start with the chicken curry first?
All right, we start with the chicken curry. I have marinated chicken, marinated with curry powder.
Okay.
Just curry powder. I left it set it in for 10 minutes. Okay, and I'm going to add in carrots, potatoes, onions, and curry leaves.
This is curry leaf, right? And so this is very unique. Everybody knows curry powder,
Correct.
but not about the curry leaf. Can I just try one?
Yes. It's a beautiful aroma, huh? Curry leaf is one of the most important ingredients in most curry. It gives the wonderful aroma, the taste, the feel, and sometimes we use it as a garnish as well. So when we fry it on and we just top it up on top of our curries, it's wonderful. Chicken stocks. I added some water in the chicken stock so it's not too salty. So I'm going to add in a little chicken stock and let it simmer. Now I'm going to let it simmer for another 5 minutes before I add in the other ingredients as well.
Okay.
Okay? So it's simmering now. I'm gonna add in a little salt.
Okay.
Okay? And this is coriander powder. Has a very strong aroma. And this one that we're adding on is raw cane sugar. Now there's something about the raw cane sugar because when you put the raw cane sugar in, it gives a very tangy flavor in the curry. And then I have a pinch of pepper. And this is a light soya sauce.
Okay.
In our cooking, we use quite a bit of soya sauce. So we're gonna simmer it for another 5 minutes. Okay, now it's time for me to put in the fresh tomatoes. Now, I don't want to overcook the tomatoes because I wanted the dish to have a very refreshing taste of tomato. So I'm just gonna put it in. And then for the coconut milk, now there's a thing that goes that if you put the coconut milk too long in the curry, you'll find that little white bubbles are coming out of the curry. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put it in and I'm gonna let it simmer for 5 minutes and I'm just gonna leave the curry aside. So leave it aside here to simmer.
Okay.
And now
Need a clean pan.
we have a clean pan and we are gonna do the roti jala. It's a batter and it's made out of flour, eggs, water, little pepper, a little salt. But the important thing about the roti jala is you need to watch the texture. Put this aside and I'll bring out the mechanism. This is really wonderful. This is for my mom. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna now heat the pan and we're gonna oil the pan. Now I had pandan leaf in my oil because it's very fragrant.
It's green, but smells like coconut. And so it's kind of doing a little bit of a mind trick.
Correct. Okay. So this is the fun part. Maybe you could hold it higher for me.
Okay.
Okay, this is it. We're gonna do this and you gotta do it quick. 2, 3, go.
Oh, and this is how you get the lace effect for the pancake.
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool. And so you have a little bit of a sizzle in there, so it's going to get a little crispy on the bottom?
Yes, it's going to be crispy on the bottom, and therefore, if the texture is light, you get this crispy feeling on the roti jala. Now, you can't turn it until you see all this, the top of the jala bubbles up. It's like a pancake, but this is a lacy pancake. Okay, well, we're not going to turn the other way, but we're going to fold into two,
Okay.
and we're going to make into a triangle.
So it is very crepe-like.
All right, I'm going to lift it off the pan.
Okay.
So let me get this up here. All right, and you've got one jala. Do you want to try one?
Like the curry flavors, soft breads like this roti jala also originate from Indian cuisine and have been integrated into the patchwork menu of Singaporean favorites.
You know what I like about this? That you use bread to eat the curry with. And so it's very similar to an Indian curry in that aspect, but your curry is very different.
Yes, the curry is very different because, and I think we have, the curry is brought down by the curry powder, you know, the generation, the Indians who introduced curry powder to us. And basically all of us have a different way of cooking curry. We have the Chinese who cook it differently, the Eurasian, and all of us have a different way of cooking the curry. And that makes it so different and so exciting how different curries are being made and being cooked.
Modern Singapore has an image of being a commercial city with a skyline of towering high-rise buildings. And it's got some of the best shopping in the world with these multi-level air-conditioned malls like the ones that you see here on Orchard Road. But if it leaves you hungry for more and you want to check out some of the city's rich multicultural history, that's easy to find too. You just hop on the metro, or as the locals call it, the MRT.
So I hit Chinatown for a look at the colorful old shop houses, antiques,
Oh my goodness, this poor guy.
and its traditional food market selling all types of delicacies, some of which are an acquired taste. and the Malaysian enclave of Kampong Glam, Arab Street, and then Little India, famed for its colorful textiles, jewelry, furniture, ceremonial, and religious artifacts. In the past, food hawkers of all ethnicities might have been found on every street corner, adding a fondly remembered jumble of sights and smells to street life. But now the government has contained these entrepreneurial street chefs into well-organized food courts or hawker centers. Some connoisseurs complain that the street food scene has now been a bit sanitized, but it hasn't hurt business at all. There are dozens of centers all over the island, and it's an awfully convenient way to get a taste of all the local specialties under one roof.
The hawker centers can be a bit crowded and overwhelming for first-timers, so I have a few tips to help you get by. First up, when you come to the hawker center, you should look out for a stall with the longest line. One of the things you're going to need in the hawker center is a little packet of tissue paper just like this. You'll find them being sold out in the streets, and you'll see them in the hawker center itself on all of the tables. What you do with this is you can put it down onto the table and it will reserve your place. This is the power of the tissue. And now I can go find my food.
In this food-obsessed city, a prime lease on a hawker stand and its special dishes might be passed down from generation to generation. And the locals rate the best chefs as hawker masters, famed for a single dish they serve up daily for decades. Meet Mr. Tay, master hawker of the classic Singapore cult dish Hokkien Mee, or prawn fried noodles. It's a family affair.
I've been around here for 30 years, starting from my grandparents, my father, and then me. Our history is coming from the Char Kway Teow and later goes to Hokkien Mee, which my father took over.
Mr. Tay virtually makes only one dish. While his engineering student son works the front of house, his wife preps the fresh ingredients.
So this is all a science.
I hope to make it a science, but actually it's quite difficult to make it a science because it's based on a lot of years' experience when you
Right.
taste the noodles. Because every noodles itself, every day it comes, it tastes different.
Okay, hi, Mr. Tay. Okay, I am in the inner sanctum now of Mr. Tay, and can you help to show me how to make the Hokkien noodles? We can do one. Okay, we have one egg first. The next thing that's gonna go in are the noodles, very important.
Both the yellow and the white kind.
And this is the stock that goes in. Is it all right?
Chopped and fried fish cake, bits of pork rind, prawn, and squid.
Okay. Okay.
We got all kind of foods in Singapore, and the most, I would say, the cheapest form is in the hawker center. It's $3, and there are a lot of flavor. There are a lot of competitions. That's why they are so demanding.
And a little bit of the soy sauce, more broth. You can see all the steam coming up. The lid. Okay, and so now it'll steam for a little while Mr. Tay prepares the rest of the ingredients. Bean sprouts and green onion. Okay, and it's time to plate up. Oh, it's so messy. And so now we just add some of the finishing touches. There's their famous chili paste. Bit of fresh cut chili for
I
those.
tried to find out about the chili sauce, but it's a family secret.
You're gonna have some with me? Okay.
Even with the condiments, Mr. Tay's dish costs less than $2 US.
Mr. Tay, awesome.
Very good.
Very good.
Of all the different ethnic groups you find in this city, the small and clannish community of Peranicans are notable for their traditional affinity for elaborate and vividly colored decorations, clothing, and even food. Benjamin Sek's restaurant, True Blue, is devoted to Peranakan cooking.
Basically, our forefathers come from China and married the local Malay lady. And our culture is mix of Chinese and Malay both into one. And comes the food, right? The main highlight, the food. The food is the first fusion food of Chinese and Malay, where we have the Chinese ingredients comes with the Malay ingredients combined to one for the cuisine.
The Peranakan version of the sweet rice pastries known as kueh are famed for their labor-intensive variety and flair. Benjamin demonstrates the kueh called onde onde. Starting with a paste of crushed sweet potato, add glutinous rice flour, water, and a healthy dash of pandan leaf food coloring. Add more water as you go along until you get the right consistency. Family recipes rarely use measurements and are instead passed down from mothers to daughters as part of the well-known, vigorous training for an accomplished Peranakan woman.
So then what about the men? Do they all have to learn how to cook,
No,
or is that just...
The men, no. It's based on whether you like it or you don't like it, yeah. Because I like to go to the kitchen to help grandma, because I love to play water. So every day I will be in the kitchen helping grandmother to cut and wash dishes, yeah.
Oh, you're a dream. You wash dishes?
Yeah, I wash dishes. I like to play water, so dishes the best.
After encasing a nugget of pure palm sugar with the dough, Benjamin tosses them into boiling water. When the balls rise, they're done. The final touch is to roll them in shredded coconut. Benjamin warned me not to sample the hot balls until they cool off.
And is it true that it's very important for Peranakans to continue to intermarry another Peranakan to keep the culture alive?
Definitely, but today very hard to get a true blue Peranakan because of intermarriage, right? So very hard to get Peranakan married Peranakan today.
Oh, really? So, Benjamin, are you a true blue Peranakan?
Yes, I am a true blue Peranakan.
Through and through?
Yes, 6th generation Peranakan.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
6 generations.
Yeah.
So then would you say that everything that you prepare in your restaurant is true Peranakan?
Definitely.
You haven't altered any recipes. Your grandmother would still be proud.
Yeah. Okay, basically in this restaurant, both chefs, we have 2 chefs here. One is mom and one is me. Okay, basically mom will do her traditional cooking. She will not modify her cooking. And me, I will do my fusion Peranakan food where I put modern ingredients in, and it's easier for people to taste the food.
Oh, I
So that is
see.
my cooking here.
And so your mother never comes up behind you like, oh my God, Benjamin.
Oh, she do that. Yeah, you're cooking rubbish. But after that, when the guests love it, then she go behind the kitchen. She say, "Oh, you did well."
And that is fabulous. With the palm sugar on the inside.
In spite of a fantastic array of honored food traditions, Singapore isn't afraid of experimenting with brand new concepts. It's no wonder. With so little land and over 4.5 million people, the city has had to use its imagination to grow and prosper. So this is a city that is reinventing high-rise living, with tower blocks designed with futuristic green features like living green walls that shoot 30 floors up and floating gardens. A whole new cityscape is rising on reclaimed land. And accustomed to fusing together different cuisines, Singaporean tastes are becoming increasingly global and innovative. Willen Low is a lawyer turned chef whose trendy Wild Rocket restaurant has a reputation for teasing local fans by using gold standard Singapore favorites like classic laksa noodle soup and giving it an extreme contemporary makeover.
So now tell me, what is the dish called?
It's called laksa pesto linguine with tiger prawns and quail egg. Basically, laksa is a local dish that we get in the street in Singapore. Almost everyone eats it.
Yeah.
And it's actually a spicy noodle dish with a coconut tea broth. And we wanted to give it a twist at the restaurant. And we like to call the cuisine at the restaurant modern Singaporean, Mod Sin.
Okay.
And basically, everything you eat in Wild Rocket will have some local influence. And yeah, maybe we should just start and you have an idea of what we're doing.
Okay.
So we're going to put some of the nuts in first. Some pine nuts, sunflower seed, and the baklava.
Tell me more about a candle nut.
Yeah, the candle nut is, it looks a bit like a hazelnut, but it has a nice garlicky flavor to it. And
Right.
we use it quite a lot in Peranakan cooking as well. Add some garlic.
This is where the twist begins. Willen replaces basil leaves with laksa leaves, a spicy Asian alternative. Willen keeps the olive oil and Parmesan cheese part of the traditional pesto recipe.
Okay, when we are done, it should look something like this, like a pesto really.
Okay.
Then he brings the pasta to a boil and adds the pesto in a pan.
Oh, so you put the sauce in first.
That's right, you get it nice and fragrant, get it a bit cooked. A bit of vegetable stock, basically shrimps.
Okay. And these are your tiger prawns.
That's right.
He adds the tiger prawns to the pesto sauce and finally adds the pasta back into the pan.
Traditionally, laksa is actually lots of gravy and it's lots of chilies and it's red in color. So sometimes when our customers have no idea what the laksa pesto is and they order it in the restaurant and it comes out and it's green and it's dry. So
A final garnish of boiled quail eggs, dry chili flakes, and chopped parsley completes this Mod Sing dish.
just like how my grandmother used to make it.
Would she have been proud of you?
I'm not so sure about that, actually. I don't think she wants me to mess with any of her recipes.
It's time for a quick coffee break.
Hi. Can I get one coffee for takeaway?
Now, in modern Singapore, you can get your coffee latte from all the usual chains. Or you can also venture off the main drag into an old-fashioned neighborhood like Tiong Bahru to try a traditional coffee shop.
Thank you. This is my coffee to go, Singapore style. Thank you.
If you're looking for something unique to Singapore, search out the small artisanal bakeries who specialize in all sorts of kueh. These kueh are made fresh daily and include flavors like peanut, yam, sweet potato, coconut, and mango, pounded into colorfully dyed doughs, molded, and then steamed. It's a kind of production line, cottage industry style. These small bakeries in Singapore are often operated by families who cater in particular to special occasions like celebrating births or weddings, when boxes of kueh are offered as gifts. Why not treat yourself to an assortment and have it boxed up? While you're in the neighborhood, check out the local provision store for great foodie souvenirs. I grabbed spice mixes for hawker dishes, those spicy crushed chili pastes that you love on noodles, coconut kaya jam for toast, and the handy gadget for lacy roti jala bread. There's no doubt that my visit here will inspire me in the kitchen.
In Singapore to find inspiration to want to cook a Singapore dish. And so today I thought, I've been seeing all of these great grilled items everywhere in the hawker centers and on the streets. So I wanted to grill a fish for you all today. And what I'm gonna do is grill it in a banana leaf. So we have some very traditional local ingredients that I'm going to make up a paste. We have some cilantro. I have these wonderful laksa leaves, but just a few because they are very pungent. Kaffir lime leaves, fresh green peppers that I found in the market, ginger, and this has just gone over a grater just to make it really easy to use. Garlic that's been roughly chopped. This is fermented, salty soybeans, and I wanted to use them just to give the sauce a bit more body and to have that salty tang to it as well. Fresh green chilies. I've removed the seeds from them. I'm just gonna put a bunch of them in there. They're gonna add vibrancy, but because the seeds aren't there, they won't be adding in too much heat. And here we have lemongrass. This has been finely chopped, and this is just gonna perk this dish up, bring it up to life. Palm sugar, and we just wanna use a little bit for sweetness, and we're just gonna use a shock of lime just to add a little bit of acidity. And now I pound away. want a smooth paste, but it doesn't have to be totally perfect. It's gonna go on the fish. I'm just gonna eat it like that anyway. Now, what I have here is a fresh banana leaf. I'm gonna put it over the grill just for 30 seconds on each side, just to loosen it up. What happens is like this, it's not very pliable, but once you put it on the heat, it'll become really malleable and really easy to work with. And we're just gonna go ahead and put this wonderful, vibrant green sauce over the top. Oh, wish you could smell how fresh these tropical ingredients are.
Any small fresh catch of the day, cleaned and gutted, will work for my Singaporean barbecue. The individual packets are wrapped, then secured with a sharp skewer stick. Then just leave it on the barbecue for about 10 minutes.
Okay, I think that this fish is done. Bring them over through the banana leaf.
And the aroma and the flavor which comes through this firewood helps the product.
It's got to be difficult to gauge the heat, though.
Very difficult, very difficult.
What is this? This is like what? Like, how many liters is this?
So it comes to about 1,000 people. We can serve about 1,000 people.
Just outside Chennai is a factory you won't find anywhere else in India. It is home to Krishna Sweets, one of the country's biggest sweet producers and exporters. I've arranged to meet sweet tycoon Mr. Murali, who can boast 80 stores nationwide, 30 here in Chennai. For Mr. Murali, manufacturing sweets is not just about business. It's also an act of divine love. Mr. Murali.
How are you?
Great to finally meet you.
Yeah, nice of you.
The sweetest man here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Flowers?
Congratulations. Thank you for your visit to our kitchen.
Shukriya.
If the child born, they distribute the sweets. Then after going to school, they distribute the sweets. After the education over, they distribute the sweets. After the married time, they distribute the sweets. All the festivals, they distribute the sweets. The sweet is a part of our life.
Oh my goodness, this is huge. I gotta tell you, I'm feeling like a politician. I get flowers, I got all these people behind me.
We make a product with a little more affectionate, like mother making a product.
I hear you. So if you make the food with love, it tastes better?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm making the food with little more care, little more affection. So that definitely you can feel the product. You can taste it, you can feel the difference.
India is famous for its sweets, and what gives them their good taste is not necessarily good for you. They rely heavily on sugar, milk, condensed milk, and frying. One special ingredient is ghee, which is clarified butter. Aside from lashings of love and affection, at Krishna Sweets, they literally go through tons of ghee every day. You'll find cardamom, figs, cashew nuts, dates. I might have to try some.
Everything is there.
That's delicious.
You feel the difference.
Do I feel the difference? I love it.
3 colors inside.
Very nice. Here at Krishna Sweets, they make 125 varieties of sweets. Hats off to the Willy Wonka of India, Mr. Murali. The guru of sweets.
I'm extremely happy to do this type of business because where are the happiest moments there, I'm there.
An hour's drive north of Chennai is another factory that you won't find anywhere else. There's no food here, but lots of motorbikes. Royal Enfield was originally a British company that came to India in 1955. And while the UK plant closed its doors in 1970, here in Chennai, they're still going strong.
This bike, Bullet, is considered to be the oldest model in continuous production without any interruption. India is producing probably the largest amount of two-wheelers in the whole world. The character is in the build, the single-cylinder engine, the long push rods, the valve that controls the bike are all the uniqueness. It's like making a Swiss watch, which is still hand-woven. There are many things here which a machine makes, but there are few things here which a man makes, right, by hand. So we still continue to do what we have to do by hand. We still get accuracy, machining, tolerances, etc., which is by machine. So it's a combination of body, mind, and soul. 50% of the components are still handcrafted.
While 85% of production goes to the local market, Royal Enfield now exports worldwide. But there's one country they are particularly proud of to have as a customer.
In the year 1984, Royal Enfield first exported an Indian bike back to UK. We do encourage travelers to come and visit our factory. Most of the people are Royal Enfield enthusiasts, and they are more keen to see this hand-drawn petrol tanks. And I think they get highly excited when they come here.
Back to the food. In India, it's still common for food to be served from people's homes direct to the public.
Can I get a combo plate, please?
And you know it's good by all the satisfied customers who are standing outside.
This is called Mama's Mess, and it's basically a street front restaurant which is cooked by an entire family in their house. And the food's supposed to be absolutely delicious. This is the mother. This is the mommy. Okay?
Welcome to our moderate kitchen. We are preparing baratha and pickles, sambar. All items are prepared here only.
This is your brother's place?
Yeah. We are preparing here rice items, 16 items of rice.
So it's like the whole family, downstairs and then...
Downstairs, upstairs.
And then upstairs you guys all live?
Living in upstairs.
Okay.
Upstairs.
Another 3 stories of living space. He's your dad?
Founder. Dad is founder of our concern.
I see. This is probably one of the only restaurants that actually can state that it is home cooked.
There's something else about Chennai that not many people who live outside of the city know. It is home to the world's second largest urban beach. It's called Marina Beach, and it's 13 kilometers long.
People kind of like come down here to take in a little fresh air, eat some ice cream, hang with the family, you know, what people do on their beaches, you know?
Every night on the beach, there's a fairground of hawkers selling all sorts of colorful trinkets. And of course, there's great street food.
Wonderful contrast of hot, spicy, soft, moist, crispy, soggy, raw, all in the pot in one bite. This looks like it's perfectly cooked, marinated in Kashmiri chilies, just a little spicy, and then garnished with some cumin powder.
I've had a magical time here in Chennai, and I've learned a lot about the locals, but I never imagined putting my trust in a fortune teller.
Okay, what we have right here is a fortune teller, and the fortune teller is none other than the famous bird. And the bird's gonna come out of the cage and pick a card, and then be able to tell you your details of your life.
Ganesh came.
What's that?
He said your name.
Yeah.
In your future, you'll become daily. You're going to big actually. Your future will be very good actually. You don't have any problem in your lifetime.
No problem.
Okay. You're going to grow actually. You're going to be in very good position in future.
I'll tell you what, it's a great fortune. I want to pay an extra 10 for a fortune like that. Shukriya.
Vanakkam.